Welcome to Learn Shorthand Typing with Vikas sir. The Hindu Editorial Dictation heading is पॉजिटिव क्लाइमेट। ये आर्टिकल आपका क्लाइमेट को लेकर रहे हैं, यूएस के साथ जो हमारी पोजीशन क्या रहेगी उसी को लेकर ये आर्टिकल है आपका। इसमें हम डिस्कस करेंगे 100 वर्ड पर मिनट। सो बी रेडी, स्टार्ट। इंडियाज फ्रंट लाइन पोजीशन एज थर्ड हाईएस्ट एमिटर of greenhouse gases has sharpened focus on its future policy course to mitigate carbon emissions under the Paris Agreement. It has an irrefutable claim to a big part of the remaining global carbon budget, along with other smaller nations with low historical emissions, but room for maneuvering has shrunk in a world facing record temperatures and calamitous weather events. There is escalating pressure for India to commit itself to a date when it can achieve net zero, removing as much GH as it emits on the lines of the goal set by the US and the European Union for mid-century and 2060 by China. Declaring a net zero plan under the Paris Pact is disappointing prospect, since it would impose expensive choices, particularly in energy production. The conundrum has been addressed at least partially by visiting US Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry, with the promise of financing and technology to make renewable energy the core of future development. Specific areas of cooperation to bring down emissions in the expansion of transport, buildings, and industry, and facilitating funding for 450 GW of renewable energy by 2030 can advance the India-US Climate and Clean Energy Agenda 2030 partnership. More clarity on the bilateral roadmap towards emissions reduction may come at the COP26 conference in November. India, meanwhile, needs to get all states to mitigate emissions and help them adapt to climate-linked extreme weather and atmosphere pollution caused by fossil fuels. At the end of 2020, a year marked by COVID-19 and many destructive storms, the Union Environment Ministry declared that the country had achieved 21% of its 35% target to cut emissions intensity of GDP by 2030, and similarly was generating 37.9% of the 40% of power from renewables. Though encouraging, the immediate challenge lies in coming up with an adaptation framework to help those at highest risk, the millions living in the path of annual cyclones, including residents of populous coastal cities. Raising the ability of city administrations to handle tens of millions of liters of water regularly dumped in just a few days requires planning, funding, and political commitment. Making low-cost insurance available for houses against climate-related losses will raise resilience and lead to audits encouraging governments to reduce risks. The Paris Government Agreement can easily fund much needed urban retrofitting and boost employment, there is also a health imperative. Heat stress has a severe impact, causing higher mortality among the vulnerable elderly. These are growing problems, but they also represent an opportunity to steer post COVID 19 policies towards benzene green development. For a low emissions future, policies must put nature at the center. Full stop. स्टूडेंट ये आपका आर्टिकल है, फर्स्ट आर्टिकल है आपका, इसको आप टाइप कीजिए, टाइप करने के बाद आप इसको मैच कीजिए और इसमें जो आपकी न्यू वर्ड हैं, जो वोकैबुलरी है, उसको अलग से निकालिए और जो आपको आउटलाइन नहीं आती हैं तो उसको आप मुझे कमेंट बॉक्स में कमेंट कर सकते हैं, फिर मैं आपको रिप्लाई करूँगा. ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच, हैव ए गुड डे.